Alright guys, here is a video that I have not been excited to make. And it's for multiple reasons. So, obviously, one of the reasons is that the Nova is gone. And probably gonna shock a lot of you, or it might not, but it doesn't shock me. You know, for a long time I said that I would not get rid of my Nova. It'd be one of those cars that I would never get rid of and that I would keep forever. And I fully intended to. But things change, people change, and sometimes things are out of your hands, and sometimes things are in your hands. And this is kind of a combination of both. So, just to get the whiny part out of the way, I was just really tired of working on that car. I was so burnt out on it. I still had lots of stuff to do. I wanted to get the floor pans fixed. I even had the floor pans bought, and I had them here. I had some AMD panels, and I was planning on, I was gonna pay someone to do the floor pans, and they said they were interested. A couple people said they're interested. But then when it came down to it, I just really never heard back from either one of them. So I would have tried it myself, but if I did, it would have been one of those things where it just took forever to complete. So, and with the work that I did on the trunk of the Nova, I just didn't trust my welding very well, and I just didn't want to put myself into that. This is kind of hard to do from that angle. I'm gonna have to go on the other side. Anyways, I felt that if I could get the floor pans done, it would kind of reinvigorate me to, you know, be excited about the Nova again. I figured that if I did that, excuse me, that I would do sound deadening. That would be fun and exciting for me. I would do carpet, which I've always wanted, and I would just make the interior more comfortable. And then but then like the rust on underneath the vinyl top was kind of always on my mind and kind of weighing on me. And the top was so nice, the vinyl top was in such good condition that I didn't even want to open up that can of worms of taking it off to address it. And I just figured that trying to find someone around here to pay to do it would have been very difficult. So many factors. I literally only drove that car like 1,000 miles in the time that I owned it. So it's not like I even had that much driving time into the car. Yeah, I spent more time working on it, and yeah. But I think one of the big reasons was that, you know, my boys, they're not into, they weren't, oh, that's nice. They weren't into the car. I mean, of course, they thought it was cool, but they weren't like into muscle cars or going fast or anything, so I didn't really have people right here around here to enjoy that with. And I know that there's a couple people up in Washington that are super cool that you know, were like, hey man, we should meet up, and I was super down for that, but I just never trusted my car to go that far, which was probably all my mind, because I think the car actually wasn't good driving condition. It just needed a few things ironed out for, you know, for driving normally. Like it needed an actual tune, it needed an alignment, an actual alignment. It needed a coolant flush. Didn't overheat. It just had a rust in there from when I let it sit for too long without any coolant in there, or just minimal coolant in there as I let it sit too long. So, but like none of my closer friends are into that kind of stuff, and so yeah, that's why I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go. I do have plans, but let me talk about that in a little bit. So my plans are not, yeah, so anyways, sorry, losing track of my mind. Anyways, my boys didn't enjoy it. We do really enjoy Toyotas, always have. I mean, some of my first videos on the channel are Toyota stuff. In fact, most of it was Toyota stuff to start off with. I just ended up getting the Nova and focusing on that more. But we love Toyotas. We love just tooling around and going off-road, and so that's why I had bought a Tacoma. But that ended up being too small for me, and I wanted something a little bigger. Had gotten the Honda Accord, which was a total mistake. Even though it was awesome on gas mileage, I just felt like a complete dork driving it. It wasn't fun, it was boring. So I got rid of it. And you know what? I got this FJ Cruiser. And they're never on my radar, but I end up really liking it, and I really like this one. It's basically about like the size of my 3rd gen 4Runners that I've had, but wider, which is what I need because I'm kind of wide load, so it's definitely bigger and suits my needs. And now I'm trying to get this thing geared up to do some off-road and adventuring with the boys. We'd like to do some of those back roads, Oregon trails that are pretty popular and have some pretty amazing views. So yeah, I also just have missed having my garage space back, and that Nova has been stuck in my garage for literally years. I didn't like to leave it outside. I always wanted it parked in here at all times. I was paranoid about, you know, someone doing something to it, someone stealing it if I left it out, vandalism, just anything, man. When you put so much work into something like that, then you get scared that, you know, it could all be gone in a second, and so that became a problem. You know, you shouldn't, stuff shouldn't be like that. You should be able to, if something happens, you know, it shouldn't be the end of the world. You should be able to let that kind of stuff go. But yeah, anyways, that was always kind of weighing on me about my garage being freaking monopolized. And I gotta tell you now, it's only been like a month or so, and the fact that I can pull something in here and just work on it and then not have to have it stuck in garage purgatory is freaking amazing. But you know, along with that car, I don't know if you guys will understand this, maybe you do, but a lot of stress. A lot of stress and anxiety and just a burden came on that car. I always felt like I had to get out here like every single weekend and touch that car somehow. And it got to the point where I just dreaded the weekend and coming because I felt like I was obligated to come out here, work on something, make a video, you know. Just felt a lot of pressure on that. And it got to the point where I just wasn't enjoying touching that car anymore. So everything kind of piled up. And then something happened that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that later. I can tell you it wasn't fun. It was health related. And I just don't want to be wasting every second of my time worrying about something as silly as a car in my garage. So anyways, it's gone. The burden's gone. It's in Wisconsin. So if you guys are in Wisconsin, I guess it's closer towards this, I don't know, the border, southern border, Wisconsin. I don't know. But you might see in some shows there, the guy right now is doing some of the stuff I didn't want to pay for. Like he's having the top fixed. He's having, had it pulled off, getting it cleaned up and bonded. I don't think any metal has to be cut out, but there's a lot of pitting. So it's got to be treated. It's got to be filled properly. Yeah, so he's actually doing that. And that was something that I didn't really want to pay for. He had it tuned. I guess he said it did good. I didn't even ask. Kind of don't want to know. It's kind of like, I mean, I know that was a cookie cutter motor build, so it should have done pretty dang good actually. It should have done pretty good. But that car to me now is like the ex-girlfriend that I don't want to hear about. Like, I don't want to hear about all the cool things you're doing with my ex-girlfriend. We had our relationship, it's over. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm glad you guys are doing great, but let's just not talk about it anymore. So anyways, if you're in the Wisconsin area, you might see it. And it should probably look pretty close to the same thing. I mean, there's one thing that was super cool about that car is that it was very unique. There's not any other builds really around here like that. It was kind of a one-off build where, you know, everybody else builds their cars the same way and they all kind of end up looking the same. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if you like just the more casual classic look. I didn't want that. I wanted something that stuck out like a sore thumb and grabbed everybody's attention, and I think that's what that car did, which is funny because when I started out, I kind of wanted that car to be a sleeper, and then it just escalated, as all things do. It got out of control. And got into a more intense build than it should have been. Like, it's a cool car, but man, comfort is not really one of its strong points. That car is pretty much just made to rip and rip hard. And I hope that's how it gets used. And I hope it holds up good, and hope they use it in the way I wanted to. I just don't want to hear about it. Have fun with it. Time to move on. I think some of the upcoming content is mostly going to end up being the cruiser for just a little bit until I find something, because I actually am looking for something else. But I can tell you right now that I want something that is not a complete start over. I want something that's actually, I want to benefit off of somebody else's hard work and money. I want them to have paid all the money that I get to reap the benefits from and save money on. All the money, I want them to have less money and me to benefit off that and have a good starting point, and then just take off and take over from there. Exactly what the guy did with me. I want that to be the case, but I also want something more along the lines of a cruiser. Something to get in the streets, go cruising in the evenings. So I'm realistically probably looking for an Impala 63 or 64. I have been looking for a while, and that's what I'm hoping to find, is something like that I can just go cruising with. It doesn't have to be fast. Heck, I don't even care if it has the drivetrain. I'd rather be stock, like just a small block. I don't need an LS swap. I don't need anything crazy. I don't need to be fast. I just want something that's going to sound good, be reliable, something I can just go cruising with around town in the evenings, drive to the beach, which is a couple hours away. Just want to be able to do that kind of stuff. Make it look cool, put my own spin on it, and just be a really cool cruiser. So we'll see what I can find. I've been looking really hard, and I gotta tell you, everything's a lot more expensive now than it used to be. I'm hoping that maybe the prices will go down, things will settle up after an election. I don't know. I think the market maybe is slowing down just a little bit, and cars are not going for near as much as they were. So I'm kind of hoping that is actually true. I'm seeing a lot of people post their cars for mega money. I mean, I did the same thing too. And then, and then when you sit on it for a while, you realize, hey, these aren't selling for this much anymore. I saw another guy on Instagram, he's selling a C10, freaking awesome C10, but he listed it for $50K with his Instagram account to go with it. And I think he quickly realized that just because it's an Instagram truck, a social media vehicle doesn't mean it's gonna fetch all the money. So the price on that's already been dropping a good amount. So I just don't think vehicles are gonna be fetching as high as money as what they used to be. I'm gonna paint these black. Probably already figured that. Get rid of all the black or the silver stuff on this thing. It's got silver corners, silver little patch right there that you can see, the door handles, the mirrors. There was some on the front bumper, but it's got a different bumper on there. So that is already gone. So look at, I'm just messing around in here. Just messing around in here. Nice to pull something in here and just mess around with it. Kind of cool and chill. I still got that Wilds Rides Nova cage I need to get rid of. I was gonna put that in for a harness bar. I try not to give away every single piece with it because I felt like I took a hit on the cost of it, so I'm trying to make my money back on some small things here and there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I hope you're not bummed out. I've really just been like not excited about posting this video just because I know that I'm gonna get a lot of crap. And it's not something I should worry about, but I really enjoy like the friendships and stuff I made on there, and I love the interaction that I get with you guys. And I know a lot of you are probably gonna leave because I don't have the Nova anymore, which, yeah, that is what it is. I mean, I'm not retiring on this YouTube thing, so if you want to go, that's cool. I know that like I'm not going to stop following the people I follow just because I don't have a Nova anymore. I still want to interact, and I still want to see what you guys are building, and still want to hear about it. And you know, but I have been dreading having this conversation and hearing some backlash on it. So it is what it is. I knew it was coming. I thought of one more thing. I know some of you guys might say, why don't you just keep it and store it, and then when you're not sick of it and you want it back, you can work on it again. One thing, I don't have anywhere to store it. I'm not going to store it in my garage any longer. And if I want to get anything else, I need the money. I don't have money for multiple car projects and stuff like that, so that is not an option. Yes, I will regret it at some point, I guarantee it. But for right now, my stress levels are way down. I love being able to pull in here and do stuff, even though it's a freaking mess still. But yeah. So this cruiser will be what you'll see a little bit until I get my next car. But this thing's cool. I already upgraded the suspension, JBA upper control arms, King shocks. Lower control arms. Basically a whole front suspension rebuild. Got some cool center caps. You guys saw the mirror caps I put on. Put on that little cool rack right there. Pretty stinking roomy compared to any other tote I've had. I was gonna plasti dip those, but then I went to put on a second coat of plasti dip and ended up putting on paint because I got the cans mixed up. I was distracted. So I ended up just pulling these off, painting them separately, and then putting it back on. But the corners, everything that's blacked out, I think turned out way better. Put the front bumper on. It's got a 12K winch in there, and I still got to wire up a bunch of stuff, but this thing was pretty much plain Jane when I got it, and it's been nice working on it and actually having energy to do that. So anyways, I'm just gonna bask in this and do spinning dancing moves. Hope you guys stick around. If not, I totally get it.